All right, so let's go ahead and take stuff back to the old Technically T days when I did the whole case lineups for a particular brand. Now, I asked this on my community feed what you guys thought about this, and it's something I've been thinking about for a while, but I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and get back to it. Now, what you're going to see here is going to be every case from Aulumu. Once again, a huge shout out to Aulumu for always reaching out to me and giving me the latest and greatest when it comes to a new iPhone. Now, every one of their cases will be featured in this video. I'm going to kind of streamline it a little bit. I'm only going to talk about the case features as in weight and what it is with the phone in and out. I'll leave that as a little pop-up text so you can see that so we don't waste time weighing stuff and doing all of that. We're just going to get straight into the points of the case, and I'm going to try to keep all rambling down as fast as I can. And if you want to see a particular case, I'll make sure to put chapters so you can just skip to that case and you can go ahead and check it out. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, we're going to go from least protection to the most protection, and let's just go ahead and move this over here to start off to the side, and let's go ahead and talk about the Aramid Fiber. Now, I already done a dedicated video. Oops, excuse me. This is going to be the vegan leather. Wrong one. Let's go back and let's see where my Aramid Fiber is. All right, boom. All right, here we go. Aramid Fiber, here we go. So once again, I did a video on this case already, but guess what? We're going to give it a quick rundown so we can tell you, if you want to know, if it's your first time looking at it, what this case is about. So this is going to be their Aramid Fiber. This is going to be their very thin protection. And before I keep going, everything that I'm talking about will be linked down below via either Amazon or Alumu's website directly, where I do have a discount code where you can get 10% off. All right. So this is going to be the Aramid Fiber, their thin case offering. So if you're someone who likes to keep things very thin, this case is going to be for you. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, man. This is one of the best thin cases, super minimal cases that I've tried so far for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, when you're looking at the back of it, this is the design that you're going to get, okay? You're going to get all the Aulumu tidbits. You know, when it comes to Aulumu, it's a lot of stuff going on with their case, but in a good way because it makes it so unique. So as you can see, when it comes to the camera cutout, just about every one of these cases with the camera cutout is going to look very unique, very different. And on the inside, you're going to get those MagSafe magnets. Now, I'm here to tell you, man, Aulumu has some of the strongest MagSafe magnets so far for the iPhone 17 series that I've tried out. I mean, these things are absolute solid. Flip it over on the bottom, you're going to see your cutouts. And of course, this is going to be a case where you're actually, your hips are going to be out. Very thin protection, Aramid Fiber. If you're someone who loves the minimal thing, then this case is going to be for you. So let's go ahead and slap this on. Now, I will tell you this right now. This is an extremely tight fitting case when it comes to this Aramid Fiber. So just taking a look at it in this silver 17 Pro Max, as you see, the sides are going to be out, but you do get like a little lip on this corner. So when you were to drop it, this is going to be very tight, light drop protection, okay? You are going to have these corners, but when you talk about lay on tail protection with the screen protector, it's basically non-existent. You can't really think about much protection when it comes to a case like this. Minimal cases only. This is what has going on when it comes to this Aramid Fiber. So not much lay on tail protection. Flipping over on the bottom, when you're talking about camera lip, not really much camera lip, just your standard camera plateau protection. And if you're talking about wobbling it, it is not going to wobble. Now, how it fits on the phone. Once again, man, we trying to do these quick. How does this case fit on the phone? This case fits very good when it comes to the Aramid Fiber. There's no movement at all. When this case pops on, I mean, this bad boy is on all four corners. It doesn't give it a super snap when it comes to the bottom two, but this thing is on all four corners and it fits extremely tight. No issue at all when it comes to this case. The feeling in hand, it's going to feel very good. I really like the feel of this because if you're someone who likes the feel of the 17 series when it comes to it being naked and you like the sides of you like to feel your aluminum sides, then this case is definitely going to be for you because it feels good and you feel that little lip that you get. So you're not just getting straight raw aluminum sides. If you were to drop it, there's a little lip right there. So if you happen to drop it on the sides, it better be very even concrete. That's all I got to say. But there is a little lip there that you do feel while you are holding it. But of course, man, this case keeps things very thin if that's what you want to do, because we know the 17 Pro Max is some chunky boys. We like to keep things very thin, okay? When it comes to these magnets, just like I stated, I can't really, let me get it. You can't really get the gist of the magnet because of this camera plateau. But when you're talking about putting accessories up here, I mean, this magnet is super duper strong. There's not a single thing wrong with this magnet. They have a very strong magnet, as you can see when it pops on. Strong magnet when it comes to this thin case. I'm not really going to get too much involved in shake test because I don't want to have to keep getting up and getting my MagSafe battery pack. But the magnet on this thing is very good, very strong, and I really like it. I mean, no issues at all, especially when we're talking about a MagSafe wallet. So this Aulumu A17 Aramid Fiber, if you're a person who likes the thin cases, if you like your Aramid Fiber cases when it comes to other brands, that's cool, but a lot of them don't have ones with the sides out. If that's your thing, this is going to be a very good fit because it's going to be a good fit for you and a very good fit because this thing feels tight, strong MagSafe, cool look, Aramid Fiber, and has a little bit of cooling design when it comes to the camera plateau. So this is going to be the Aramid Fiber case from Aulumu A17. Hey man, when I do my best minimalistic cases, this is going to be one that's going to be on the list. Next up on deck is going to be the Frosted case. Now, as you can see, this packaging just disintegrates, all right? But let's go ahead and get into the Frosted case. Now, this is the case that a lot of you kind of know when it comes to Aulumu. This is the first case from Aulumu that I tried out, and I was so impressed with them because, one, it's going to be a cool looking design. I mean, you're not getting anything that fire, except you might get it with another brand, but when it comes to their cases, they're a little bit lacking. If you know who I'm talking about, hit the comment section down below. I ain't going to say nothing else, but you do get a cool design when it comes to this Aulumu, and this is the case that really made me fall in love with the Aulumu brand. This is going to be their Frosted case. And they do make this also in a white clear version. So if you want to pop that on with your 17 Pro Max, if you have that silver, of course, that's going to be a very good look. But let's go ahead and check this out. Now, this is going to be like and they changed up the material a little bit to where it's a lot more hard plastic that I think can show little marks. Before, it was like a hard, stiff TPU. Now it has like a hard polycarbonate shell with a little bit of TPU size, kind of like a dual fuse case, if you can ask me. Now, when you look at the back of it, of course, it's giving you some of those Aulumu tidbits when it comes to that magnet. You're going to have your little CPU cooler. I have never tried that out. If you're an Aulumu person, in the comment section down below, let me know if this thing works when your CPU gets hot. This is actually turns yellow. Once again, you're going to get that nice design when it comes to that camera plateau area. You're going to get that camera control button, which Aluminum camera controls are feeling real good. When it comes to the sides, you're going to get a little strip right here of grip along the sides. Not anything too predominant, but it is there, and I do feel like it does help. It says designed by Aulumu. You're going to get your buttons, and those buttons, let me see, are those? It sounds crazy. You got to feel it, but hey, listen, that look crazy. But when it comes to the buttons, those are going to be metallic buttons. If I'm not mistaken, these are going to be metallic buttons. And yeah, you're going to get that full coverage all around. On the inside, here comes that magnet, and you're going to get your cutouts. And it's not too much of a heavy duty case. So let's go ahead and slap it on the 17 Pro. Pretty good smack when it comes to that. Aulumu is kind of known for some very nice, solid fitting cases, but this is the way that silver is going to look in this Aulumu case. This is what I'm talking about. You don't get this look too much on the market. So let's go ahead and go through it. Just look at it real close. Look at that camera plateau. I mean, this is a case that you set it down, you go to a bar or something, people going to look at this bad boy and be like, yo, what kind of case is that? If I wear this to work, people are always like, that's a cool looking case. What is that? And I say Aulumu. And they're like, who in the hell is Aulumu? Check out their cases, all right? Layer on tail protection, as you can see right here, you're going to get a little bit of lip, definitely more than when it comes to the Aramid Fiber. So a little bit of lip is there when you're talking about dropping it down. I consider this case for just the light, the medium, no heavy duty case. They got something else for heavy duty that we're going to get into shortly, but this right here is still solid. I feel like it's a little lip made for the everyday person who wants to use a case. That's who this is for, all right? When it comes to the camera plateau, I mean, do we even got to talk about it? You're not getting any super excess camera plateau protection, but the lenses are recessed down in there. Now, when you're talking about the fit, how does this case fit on the phone? Now, I do feel like last year's Aulumu A16s feel a little bit better than the 17 version, but when you're talking about the pull, even hit by the camera control button, it is still very stiff. That's something you don't have to worry about. Going along the side of it, still stiff. You do get a little movement when it comes to those buttons. So there is a little bit of movement right there. Not terrible, but it is there. Top and the bottom, very stiff as well. This is not something to where you see any misalignment when it comes to the bezel. I do feel like the fit will be just fine. I kind of would like to see this tightened up ever so slightly when it comes to that fit. And when you're talking about all four corners, I mean, this thing is, it don't even want to come off the corners. I mean, this is a tight fitting. You get it off from the bottom. They kind of pop off a little bit, but this is a case that's not going to pop off easy. It is tight in there, and that is characteristics of an Aulumu case. Very tight fit, a little bit of movement when it comes to the buttons. Now, How does this case feel in your hand? And I think this thing feels really good. They did a really good job of rounding things off. And I think everybody with a 17 Pro series can appreciate that because we all love the rounded off natures of their cases, especially of the actual case, the phone itself. So this one is doing a great job with the rounded characteristics. Just feels good when you're holding it in your hands. And I'm really feeling it. You know what I mean? Doesn't add too much thickness. Okay. I still feel like it's a lighter protection case, doesn't add a bunch of thickness, and it doesn't feel heavy or anything like that. I think it feels good. You know, the grips, the little subtle grips right here really work when we are talking about this case. So I think they did a really good job with that. Bringing the magnet over, I mean, listen, man, Aulumu has some of the strongest magnets, man. These things are on there good, and it is up there with some confidence when you're talking about magnets. Very strong magnets when it comes to Aulumu. Slapping I mean, did you just hear that? Did you just listen to that? Listen to that smack, man. That right there alone is telling you what's going on with these magnets. I mean, a super tight fit when it comes to these magnets, man. So this is going to be the Aulumu. This is going to be their frosted case. This is the case that first started me off with Aulumu, and I feel like they're doing an excellent job with a great fit. Oh, buttons, by the way, let's go ahead and test these buttons out. Nice and tactile buttons, no issue at all. And then let's take out that camera control. As you can see right here, they have had very good camera control buttons. Let me go over here to the zoom, and you know, they very good camera control. It works just fine, not a single issue when it comes to their camera control. And that's what I've known when it comes to Aulumu cases. Great buttons, tight fit, mag safe, strong as hell, looks cool and different, and gives you a little bit of cooling properties as well when you're looking at the case. This is going to be a frosted case. Now, next up is probably my favorite case right now from Aulumu, and this is going to be their vegan leather. Now, you guys know, typically I am not a fan when it comes to vegan leather, but man, I'm going to tell you, this year I've been giving the vegan leather-ish type of material some burn, and I'm here to tell you, I'm feeling them, and this case right now is my favorite case from Aulumu. So let's go ahead and check it out. Once again, signature look when it comes to that camera plateau. Nice vegan leather, okay? You get a nice little design. You get a little Aulumu branding right here, very subtle. Of course, this one is going to be their more toned down version. So if you think the other case got a little bit too much going on, then this case is really going to tone things down, but I still feel like it does look unique. Flip it over on the inside, you're going to get that Aulumu branding designed by Aulumu. You kind of get a little soft feeling up in here, and you're going to get those buttons, as you can see right here, your volume up and down. These are going to be very nice aluminum buttons. I don't think they're plastic, could be, but they are. And even on the bottom back of them, I know a lot of people ask me this, does the buttons have any type of material on the buttons on the back so it doesn't scratch the device? They do have nice little felt strips on the back of the buttons, so you don't got to worry about it. All right, so let's go ahead and pop the phone in the case, and this case fits tight. All right, let's this case is the real deal when it comes to fit. Just, I love everything about this case. I really do. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is how it's going to look on that silver version. Very toned down, very mellow. And I feel like a lot of people can appreciate that when it comes to this case. So first things first, let's take a look at that lay on tail protection. Now, this is the vegan leather option. This right now has the thickest lip of them all so far. I do think another one may beat that as we go through the video, but I do think this one has the thickest lip. As you can see right here, it has a nice lip that you can actually feel and rub up on, pause, but it is there when you're talking about drop protection. I do still feel this is like the lightest too. If you do give it a good drop, I think this will do good with everyday protection and stuff like that. Taking a look at the protection when it comes to the camera control area, not the camera control, camera plateau, of course, it's recessed in there just as the rest of the cases. You already know there will be no wobbling going on. Now, fit. This is where this case just blows my mind when it comes to the fit. This fit is absolutely insane. I mean, you're going to get a little movement right here, but that is super tight, top and bottom. Basically, nothing is moving without you really pulling it. Super tight fit. One of the tightest fits on a case for the 17 series so far. Just super tight fit. I mean, you can't even, I feel like I'm going to bend this phone trying to get it out this case. I'm talking about super tight fitting case. The sides don't pop out easy, nothing like that, no slop when it comes to the fit of this case. Just A1 feeling good when we talking about the fit. So tight. on this case. How does it feel in your hand? This is going to be that vegan leather. Okay, so some of you may look at this and be like, it might be a little bit slippery, but in my opinion, it's not terrible. Now, this is vegan leather. I would love to see the longevity on using a case like this with this material, but I mean, it looks just absolute stunning in my opinion. I feel like this is such a great looking case. I mean, this is something you may have to see in person. Looking at it, it's going to give you that leather look, but of course, it's going to be that vegan leather. So don't think it's going to patina or give you that true wear and tear over time. But in hand, it does wear a little thicker than the others, and it does give you a little bit of slippery, especially if your hands have a little bit of moisture to them. The case could get a little bit slippery, but in my opinion, it is not terrible. Now, when it comes to those buttons, very nice, clean, just tactile buttons, a little bit more mushy than the frosted, so you got to kind of push it, and I think that's because they're more built into the case and on hugging onto that vegan leather. So therefore I think that has a little bit to do with it when you're talking about that real clicktivity. Okay, camera control, just like I stated, this is going to be just like the other one. I mean, works flawlessly. Nothing going on with the camera control. Their camera controls work very good, nice, clean, built into the case. Just a nice look when it comes to that camera control. Now, of course, magnets. I mean, this thing, once again, this one has a little bit of a weaker magnet. This one here does have a slightly weaker magnet than the rest of them. Now, I can tell you that. Maybe because of the material being a little bit thicker, but you can kind of tell that, yeah, this one does lack the magnetic strength then the frosted, then the aramid. You can definitely tell, and I think that's because it's more material on the back. So you are able to tell that this does lack a little bit, but I still think it should be good when you're talking about every day wearing this case. All right, looking down here where the cutouts are, these look nice and wide to where you can fit a third-party cable in there just fine. So this is going to be the vegan, man. I'm telling you, everything about this case checks the box. It is very good. The only thing that I would like possibly change is if the MagSafe was just a little bit stronger. Outside of that, beautiful case, Aulumu. Beautiful case when it comes to this vegan leather. Next one up on deck is going to be called the Slim Shockproof. Now, this is a new one. I've never tried this one from Aulumu. This is bumping up that protection. You hear? Shockproof. So this is kind of going up between this one and the next offering that we have from them. Let's check it out. Going to be something a little bit different. Now, this one is going to give you that hard polycarbonate material right here. As you can see, this will show a little bit of smudges when you're using it. Signature Aulumu when it comes to that camera plateau. Over here, when it comes to the camera control button, one thing that I wish they did was to keep this dual layer type of design all the way down. They just went TPU right there, and I feel like it gives a little bit too much when it comes to the camera control. I wish they would have kept this dual enforced filling all the way down to really enforce this area by that camera control, but we'll see how that looks when we slap it on. Over here, when it comes to the buttons, you see what I'm talking about? This is more reinforced. It doesn't move as much as this. So that's one thing that really stood out to me when I first slapped this case on. I just wish they used that uniformity going all the way down when it comes to that camera control side. As you can see, this case has a little bit more drop protection. Okay, you're going to get little rubber bumpers on the side, on the top and bottom, and on the bottom, and it's going to be a thicker case. This will be a thicker case, point blank period, when you're talking about being on your phone. Of course, you're going to get your buttons, which you feel like they pop out, but they're a little bit more loose, little too much rattle. Okay, Aulumu, that's kind of tambourine-ish. All right, it's a little too much mariachi shake when it comes to those buttons. So I would like that to be cleaned up also. So let's go ahead and slap this on. Kind of pit-pat, little two-piece slap, all right? But let's go ahead and take a look. Here it is when it comes to the Slim Shockproof case. Now, once again, this is going to be where your protection is coming. So far, this has a nice lip as well. Kind of, I feel like it's similar to the vegan leather, but it is a little lip that goes there because once again, this is going to be the Slim Shockproof case, but this is going to have more shockproof areas, especially dropping it on the corners when you're talking about these corners. So it's going to provide you a little bit more protection than what we've already presented when it comes to these cases. Now, when it comes to the camera plateau, once again, all of this protection is going to look the same. When it comes to the camera plateau, not much different. Fit. I want to test that fit out because just like I stated, there is a little bit of differences. So when you come down here on the sides, rock solid. You see what I'm talking about, Aulumu? You had the chance. By the buttons, very stiff because you kept that dual reinforced edge going around right here where it says camera control. And guess what? You don't got to put the font. It says camera control button. We know that's there, Aulumu. Don't put font. We don't like unnecessary font on our cases. I know a lot of you guys are like that. reinforce this, just reinforce that so this doesn't move just ever so slightly. I feel like this, just I wish that would be cleaned up just a little bit. But outside of that, I mean, the case is tight. None of these, they all snap on. And the bottom is kind of little, and ain't the best right there. The bottoms aren't the best. The tops are up there very strong. So not a deal breaker, but yeah, I feel like that was just a missed opportunity to you have just a solid tight fitting case all the way around. Now, when we're talking about feeling in hand, you can definitely feel that this has more material. You can definitely feel that this has a little bit more bulk when you're talking about using it, okay? So you're gonna feel it in your hand. You're gonna feel that bulk. You're gonna feel that weight. Is it terrible? No, but you're gonna be able to feel that it's there. So it's something that we have to take account of. When it comes to being a little bit slippery, I do think it's a little bit slippery with that hard polycarbonate. As you see, it does leave fingerprints and smudges. This material isn't the slipperiest, but it's not the most grippy as well. I feel like it's somewhere in between. Like me holding this right now, I have pretty good grip on it. But as you use it throughout the day, your hands get sweaty. I feel like this can be a very slippery case. Now, buttons, even though they shake and rattle, very solid buttons. They do kind of shake and jiggle and do all the above, but very, very solid. Camera control button, as you can see here, works just fine. And you can actually feel that that camera control button is more recessed in there than the others. So I do like the way that feels. And magnets, let's see what these magnets are hitting on. Very strong magnets back again. It doesn't feel like the vegan leather. It is strong. I feel like the frosted still is a little bit more strong, but this is stronger than your actual vegan leather, which I'm here for, okay? Slapping it on the MagSafe, let's kind of see. Yeah, it's tight, but it doesn't get that snap that that frosted had. That frosted was just the goat when it comes to that magnet, but still fairly strong magnets. Now, where do I feel with this one? This is the one that I probably dislike the most so far. I don't really care for the polycarbonate back, leaving these fingerprints and kind of the hard plastic feel. I do feel like that leaves a little bit too many smudges. I would like this area to be cleaned up ever so slightly. Just keep that dual feeling going all the way down. The buttons shakes a little bit less when the phone is actually in the case, but for me, I don't really need this level of protection. So I would still kind of prefer something like the Frosted or the Aramid, but I do like it. I do feel like it's not the best, but I think it's the one that I dislike the most so far, just because of the properties of showing a lot of smudges on the back, even though that doesn't bother me because we do use our fingers, but it is what it is. But this is going to be the slim shockproof case. Solid offering, but I feel like some things could be cleaned up a little bit. And of course, last but not least, let's go ahead and get into their most protection case. This is going to be their rugged case. Now, I do feel like this case has the most going on visually than anything in the lineup itself. So this is going to be their rugged case. Now, rugged, but it gives flimsy. This is the thing about the rugged case. It just gives a little bit too much flimsy for me to consider this a super rugged case. Most rugged cases, it's a little bit more reinforced, all right? It's not gonna have that much give. This is gonna be called a rugged, and it's got a lot of give, but let's just go ahead and talk about it. This look is very industrial, very cyberpunk, futuristic type look. I love the way the magnet feel, and this is kind of like levels. It's kind of like indented. Love the way that looks. I mean, this is kind of like a nylon feeling rubber that goes around here, rubber on the sides, and then over here, all of this is gonna be kind of like very malleable rubber, TPU, all right? Nothing too rigid, no dual layer type of design. You get a little bit of shockproof, little thicker corners that's reinforced, but feeling wise, I do feel like that slim shockproof case was more heavy duty than this, for this to be called the rugged case. But I think it looks good, especially when it comes to the look department. Definitely looks the part. Inside, very simple, no soft lining on the back, just this smooth rubber type feeling. Looking at it on the bottom, as you can see right here. But other than that, you know, it's pretty decent. Let's slap it on. That leaves a lot to be desired when we're talking about buttons, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is going to be their rugged case. Once again, I love the way this looks, all right? CPU cooling hose. So it has a, once again, the jury is out to see if this truly works, but guess what? It looks the part, all right? And I can appreciate something that just looks the part. So you're going to get those cooling hose. And once again, this just looks good. Right here, you see it has a little cutouts for the actual cooling hose. Just looks very unique when it comes to this rugged case. Now, when you're talking about a lip that goes around it, this does have those four. Now, it has lips on the side, very nice predominant lips going along the sides, but this is going to be a case on those four corners that has elevated four corners. So if you drop it, those elevated corners And I mean, even that lip going alongside of it is going to be able to keep it raised for wherever you are. So I do feel like that is good when we talk about that lay on tear protection. Definitely the most protection so far when it comes to this case. And taking a look at the actual camera plateau, I feel like this is actually pretty good because this lip is a little bit raised pretty good. And I do feel like they did a pretty good job with this lip. So it is elevated just ever so slightly. And I definitely feel like it does pretty good because you even get a little tiny bit of rock when you're talking about teeter-tottering because they did a pretty good job with this little lip when it comes to the camera plateau. Now, fit. Rugged case, normally super tight fitting snug case because you don't want a lot of room for movement when it comes to these drops. Well, you want a little bit of give, but let's go ahead and test out the fit. I mean, it's okay. You know, a little bit too much movement around this area, but that's what you're going to get when we're talking about that soft rubber going all the way around. It's actually pretty, I like this area right here by camera control. It actually feels very good, very stiff. Overall, it's not terrible. Would I like to see it cleaned up a little bit? So don't get the flexible when I first started the video to kind of be like, I don't know about that. When it's on, it's not terrible. It actually has a better fit than when it's on, than what it feels like when it's just without the case, without the phone in it. So it definitely feels much better when you're talking about getting in just a little bit of areas right here. I would love to see this cleaned up. That could be cleaned up a little bit more. Top and bottom, I feel like it's just fine. So in snaps, pretty good. Pretty solid. Okay, rugged case. Pretty solid snaps going all the way around. So it's a tight fit. It's just these two areas are a little bit looser. When you pull this, you can kind of see that whole outside frame right there. That's just me being super nitpicky, but I gotta be when we're talking about cases at this price point. So fit definitely is pretty good. Could be a little bit better. Now, one thing is the feel in hand that I really like the way this thing feels. This has those little grip strips just like the Frosted did. So that really helps when you're talking about gripping it in your hand. As in thickness, I don't really think it weighs thicker than the Shockproof case. I really feel like it feels like it's a little bit more thinner than the slim Shockproof case. I mean, it's not super bulky, but you do feel the material there, and you do feel that I think you'll be pretty good if you were to drop this, despite it being a little bit more flexible for my liking. So, but it feels good in the hands. As in grip, feels amazing. I feel like these grips really do the job of locking things in. Now, something that I don't care about, and I feel like every one of these Aulumu cases has something going on with their buttons. These have built-in integrating buttons with the little air slits. They're okay, but they're clicky, but I'm just not writing home. I'm not writing home about it. When you have buttons like this, that's just like perfect. You know what I mean? Like you have buttons on, you just have some uniformity when it comes to these buttons. But camera control, I mean, once again, camera control works beautifully. All these camera controls work just fine when it comes to these cases. But the buttons, man, being these integrated buttons, never been a big fan of these. They've been okay, but they could be much better. And I do feel like the single aluminum buttons are just the way to go these days when it comes to a case, period. I feel like that's just the way to do buttons. Now, when we're talking about MagSafe, I do feel like this bad boy is, it picks it up, but I got to be a little bit careful. I feel like that confidence, you see if I shake it a little bit, it does kind of go flying off. So that magnet is kind of very reminiscent to, I mean, it's it has a tighter fit than the Slim Shockproof, and it's not as weak as the Vegan. I feel like it may be just a bit lower than the Frosted that has a very strong magnet. You see, it kind of pops up there with authority. So it's there, you know what I mean? I just probably strong enough magnet for sure. All right, this is definitely a strong enough magnet for sure. It's stronger than the Vegan, it's stronger than the Slim Shockproof, and it's right on point, around the point of their Frosted series. So this is gonna be their rugged case, and down here real quick at the bottom, you can see the cutout. So this is gonna be their rugged case. Do I consider this a true rugged? It's okay. I'm not 100% sure, but it feels damn good while you're holding it in your hands. I mean, the buttons, I'm not a big fan for. I would like this to be a little bit more snug and cleaned up when it comes to the fit. Fitting in hands, you know, the look is just dope. I love this look. I love this type of futuristic look when it comes to this case. But I feel like I would like a little bit just tighter fit, better buttons. Sometimes buttons really can ruin the experience when it comes to a case. Would I run this case? I don't know. I feel like for if I want a rugged style, I feel like I'll go with a case that just fits a little bit more rugged, if you hear what I'm saying. So here is the lineup of them all. Now, T, which cases would you personally use out of this lineup? All right, I would definitely use their Aramid Fiber, 1000%. I really like this case when we talking about minimal. All right, I would definitely use this Vegan. This Vegan right here, favorite case out of this lineup. Absolutely love this thing right here. And if I had to pick one more, it'll be the Frosted. Just the OG of what I was to expect. Is this case perfect? No. I would like a few things cleaned up on it, but it's a damn good case. And I just like this because I feel like this just looks the part better than all the rest of them without being too bulky looking. So that's basically their lineup, man. These are okay when it comes to their more rugged options, but I do feel like there are better rugged cases out there on the market. So you guys let me know how you like this entire case lineup. I know this case video was long, but there will be chapters so you can skip to a particular case, and hopefully I answered everything that you want to know about these cases during my little segment when I talked about it. Once again, links for Amazon and the Aulumu website will be down below, so check them out. Go grab yourself up one and let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this, and should I do more of these or just go back to the single case reviews, talking about one case per video. All right, but I'm up out of here, man. If you want to check out some dope accessories for the 17 Pro Max, you already know I got you covered. I'll leave that video right here.